Administrative meeting for April 8th, 2020. The meeting will come to order. We're using a different platform this week. We're using Google Hangouts, and it probably will not be our last platform as we experiment and try to find the best video conferencing software to hold our meetings. So we appreciate the parties bearing with us today. Fortunately, we have a relatively short agenda, and we will begin by approving the minutes of the April 1st, 2020 meeting. I will take the roll. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
And Commissioner Herman.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. The minutes are approved. Mr. Secretary, the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chairman, there are two items on today's consent agenda. Item 1 is a joint application for consent to a change of ownership transaction from Fusion Connect Inc., Fusion LLC, and Fusion Connection LLC. And item 2 is a notification of name change and replacement tariff from West Telecom Services LLC.
Thank you. Seeing no questions from the commissioners, I would move that with respect to item 1, we approve the material change in the ownership of Fusion Connect Incorporated. And with respect to item 2, that we accept the replacement tariff pages for filing and direct the company to file clean copies of the replacement tariff pages with an effective date of April 8th, 2020. The vote begins with Commissioner Richard.
I vote aye.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
And Commissioner Herman.
Aye.
I too vote aye. The motions are approved. Mr. Secretary, the administrative agenda, please.
Mr. Chairman, there are two items on today's administrative agenda. Items 3 and 4 are both from Washington Gas Light Company. One is a request for approval of the Ramet Limited ADEM-T direct mount temperature compensating corrector. And the other is a request for approval of the Ramet Limited ADEM-PTZ direct mount electronic pressure corrector. Both are in accordance with COMAR 20.55.05.02B.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Let's begin with the staff comments, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Michael Spiegelman on behalf of staff. This item concerns a request by Washington Gas Light Company filed on February 27, 2020 for approval of Ramet Limited ADEM-T and Ramet Limited ADEM-PTZ correctors, both manufactured by Ramet for billing purposes in gas service. COMAR 20.55.05.02B requires that before any pressure or temperature device may be used for purpose of correcting the registration of a meter, the type and design of the device or devices shall be approved by the Commission. In present filing, WGL has provided documentation that Ramet Limited ADEM-T and Ramet Limited ADEM-PTZ have been tested and confirmed to all applicable NZB 109 rotary gas standard displacement meters as required by COMAR. An older model of Ramet correctors has previously been approved by the Commission. In addition to that, ADEM-T and ADEM-PTZ are already approved by New York Public Service Commission. Therefore, staff recommends that the Commission approve WGL's request to approve ADEM-T and ADEM-PTZ correctors for billing purposes. If approved, staff will update the list of approved devices located on PSC website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spiegelman. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Are there any parties that wish to speak before I turn to representatives from the utility or Ramet? Thank you. I will then turn to counsel for Washington Gas Light.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. John Dodge appearing on behalf of Washington Gas Light Company. As Mr. Spiegelman has just described, we're seeking approval of two new correctors, one for temperature, one for pressure. I'm joined on the call by two representatives from ROMIT, Justin Johnson and Glenn Hurd. If the commission has any technical questions, I would gladly throw them over to those gentlemen. And I have nothing else to add, except it's good to see everyone, and I hope everyone is well.
Thank you.
Very tempted to answer some really technical questions, but I won't do that today out of deference to the platform.
Here, here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dodge, and thank you for the representatives from ROMIT joining us today. I do not have any questions. I don't see any questions from the other commissioners at this point.
I think I may have one.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. I wanted to know if if the pressure corrector is automated, or does it require some type of interaction from a representative of the company or even the consumer in order to make the correction as necessary?
A very good question. I believe the answer is it's fully automated, but I'll ask Justin or Glenn to weigh in.
Yeah. Good morning. This is Justin Johnson with ROMIT. Thanks everybody for your cooperation and the question. Yeah, the Atom PTZ and the T, they're fully electronic, fully automated, and do the correction according to the temperature and pressure changes that are seen at the meter installation to automatically provide the utility corrected billing.
So that is done. Those settings are established in advance when the meter is first installed.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Commissioner Linton. Any additional questions? Great. At that point, we appreciate staff putting together a very good buck sheet and WGL's comprehensive application. At this point, I would move that we approve the ROMIT Limited ADEM-T temperature compensating corrector with respect to item 3, and with respect to item 4, that the commission approve the ROMIT Limited ADEM-PTZ pressure corrector. The vote begins with Commissioner Richard.
I vote yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
And Commissioner Herman.
Aye.
I also vote to approve. So these motions, both these motions for item 3 and 4 are approved. Mr. Secretary, do we have any additional business on the agenda for today?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. With that, seeing no additional business, appreciate WGL and ROMIT joining us today with our staff. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.